Welcome back to the DMZ America podcast. In this edition of The Web Designer and the Postal Worker, a love story a love that dare not speak its name. I'm Scott Stantis, editorial cartoonist, coming to you from the right.
You're so soft, much like your skin. I'm Ted Rall coming to you from the left.
This is this segment, like we said at the top of the show, that we're going to be kind of breaking down into categories the Supreme Court decisions that came down over the last week or so. This is the web designer. For those of you unaware of the case, he was approached by a gay couple who wanted him to design a web page for their upcoming marriage. He being something Christian or something. Apparently Christians now aren't supposed to love everybody. Anyway, he said on religious grounds he did not want to do it. On ethical grounds, he did not believe in or sanction gay marriage. And so this went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Seems to me if you're the couple and this guy says that, you tell him to go fuck himself, because God knows there are plenty of web designers, but they challenged this, and the Supreme Court ruled in the web designer's favor that he could not be forced to do this work. Postal Worker, gosh, I can't remember where it was, but he decided that he did not want to work on the Sabbath. The post office said, yes, you will. He said, no, I won't. They said, well, we're now contracting with Amazon and all these others, so we're doing Sunday deliveries, and that means you're doing Sunday deliveries. He said, no, I'm not. This goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they decide in the favor of the postal worker that, and I kind of like this decision, Ted, unless the company can show that there is absolute cause, that this would be very bad for business for that company, that the employee has an absolute right to exercise their religious obligations and not work on certain days. That's a decision I kind of agree on, although obviously the abuses that can stem from that. The web designer, this one gets a little tricky for me. And I'll tell you, because I mean, think about it, Ted. I mean, this is really not that big of a leap. I don't want to design Ted Rall is marrying Scott Stantis, and I'm the web designer. I just don't like gay marriage. I don't like their cartoons. I don't want to do it for them. Oh, well, okay, for the reasons because they're gay. That it's not a big leap to say, well, okay, I own a lunch counter and I don't like black people. I don't want to serve them. Do I have a right to do that? You don't. Now, I'm assuming there's a legal distinction here somewhere, and I have not read the decision, to be quite honest. This is because these decisions have been coming kind of fast and furious. But of these two cases, firstly, do you have a problem? Because I know you're not a big fan of religious practice, which is fine. I won't force you to do it. But do you have the case of the postal worker? Do you have an issue with that at all, Ted?
Well, I mean, I mean, I guess in both cases, I again agree with the court. I think the postal worker should not be, I think he should not be obligated to, I mean, it's a problematic case because, well, let's say you had someone whose religious beliefs had like some really strange, some strange strictures. So for example, this guy, okay, he was a mail carrier, or I guess he was a UPS guy. And I think near somewhere in the Northeast, because this was at the Third Circuit. And so I think if memory serves, he's like from Delaware or Philly or something like that, somewhere on the Atlantic seaboard. Anyway, he just didn't want to work on Sunday. He's Christian. Well, I mean, that's pretty common in the United States. Okay, so if you're an employer, I feel like it's not an unreasonable expectation that you might have to make an accommodation for a devout Christian, considering that this country was founded by devout Christians. So, but what if you had like a worker who had like a very esoteric, strange, hard to accommodate kind of religious requirement, like they can't work on numbered days that are prime numbers or something. Like and you just couldn't, it would be hard to do. I mean, as an employer, should you be obligated to skip around and spend a lot of time thinking about the scheduling around this person who belongs to a kind of exceptionally dumb religion? I don't know. I mean, it just seems like not like I could see it being a burden. I think that because this guy, he only wanted one day a week off. It's Sunday. That's when you and I were growing up, most stores were closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
I feel like culturally that's probably an easier lift. But as for the other case, right? Well, remind me, what was the
web designer?
The web designer. So I was surprised that the court accepted this case for the simple reason that there was a very similar case coming out of Colorado, right, involving the baker,
right,
who also didn't want to do, who opposed gay wedding cakes. She didn't want to be like, Bob and Rob, congrats, or Nancy and Natasha, congrats. So that's also now that case, I think it does come down to freedom of expression, but it seems to me like the bakery case was really the important case, because what it was basically saying was, this is not like walking into, say, a bar and being turned away because you're gay. This is about this is not a public space. The baker, you can walk into the bakery, you can order something to eat that's already been made, but when you're asking them to produce something with a specific message, that is a statement. So like if you had like I love should you be able to walk into a bakery and say KKK rules on your and from your black baker? No, they should be able to tell you to go fuck yourself. And so I think that case is right. Same thing with and I think that, and so for me, the web designer is the same. That's not a public space. I mean, as a freelance illustrator, which is something I've done, I would hate to think that some like a really disgusting organization like the Los Angeles Times could force me to like draw an illustration for them. You know what I mean? Or the Nazi Party. Although I don't mean to conflate the Nazi Party with the Los Angeles Times.
That's unfair to the
Nazis. The Nazi Party has done some good things like building the Autobahn. So
God.
so I definitely but yeah, seriously, I don't think that this is a I think these are correctly settled cases. In both, I wish there was a long German word to address the uncomfortable feeling you get when you agree with decisions that come down from the court that are made for the wrong reasons. I mean, these are right-wing assholes. And in the case of the affirmative action, it's because they don't like black people. And even the black guy who voted for it doesn't like black people. In this case, like these are religious fanatics who think that religion is important and that these beliefs that are false by definition should be respected by people who are, intelligent. It's like, again, I think again, these justices are, they basically, this has been a broken clock that was right 5 times, I think. I mean,
interesting. Yeah, the web designer, I see where you're going with that, and I like the logic that these aren't public places. You can walk into that bakery if you're gay and say, "I want the black and white cookie."
Yeah.
But demanding
if they throw you out, then they should be sued.
Yes. And I think they would be successfully, but demanding or requesting or enforcing them to create a cake for a wedding that they disagree with. Because Janine, my wife, came up with a great analogy this morning. She said, "What if you ran a banner store and some Nazis came there and said, we're having a rally this afternoon and we need some banners."
Sure.
I mean, do you have a right to say, "Fuck off, get out of here"? ISIS or the LA Times, tomato.
Sure. Even worse.
So So okay, well then, boy, that was easy for us to
Yeah,
figure this one out.
yeah.
The postal worker one, it just seemed like a no brainer, just something that an employer would not take all the way to the Supreme Court. That just seems dumb to me. Why you would waste your time and money? But I'm sure you can be talked. Your attorneys can
Yeah,
talk
not
you
to
in
mention,
almost.
it's also surprising because UPS has a great reputation as an employer. I mean, they're meant to be, if you work hard and you're reasonably intelligent, apparently you get, you rise quickly, you get substantial raises in short order. People like working for UPS. They have
Was
a
this
great
UPS or was it the USPS?
Oh, that's a good question. If it was,
Because of,
yeah, let's check that out.
yeah, I know that I had a relative who applied for a
It
job.
was the post office. Yeah,
Yeah,
not UPS. Never mind. That's a miserable place to work. Yeah.
it's become a miserable place to work. It used to be, remember, it used to be kind of a sweetheart job,
Yeah, because it was chill. You just wore shorts and you ambled across the neighborhood with your
if you
bag.
did that, there are other jobs that,
Chase every dog that fucks with you.
yeah, I would just,
Shoot the fuckers.
no, we get the flamethrower drone.
Oh, right. Good point.
Thank you.
Well, you're ground based at that point. You just get the regular flamethrower. Just get the attachment. You don't need the drone.
I know, but the drone's so cool.
Yeah, it's just certainly just for entertainment value. Yeah, it never looked like those guys were really breaking a sweat,
I went camping a couple of weeks ago with some friends of mine, and around the campfire, the subject, you'd be proud of us, Ted. It actually started a very long and animated discussion on flamethrower drones and how awesome.
As it should.
And it was all guys, and we all agreed we wanted one.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, there's no other acceptable opinion on that. There's no controversy on flamethrower drones. No one's like, oh, flamethrower drones are wimpy or flamethrower drones aren't cool. No one thinks that.
No.
Everyone's pro flamethrower drone. It's like the one thing that as Americans we can all get behind.
See, Ted Rall bringing America together one flamethrower drone at a time. What was that? Was that the
flamethrower drone like shooting flame?
Oh, let's hear it again.
That was terrible.
God, it's like I was in the room.
Don't ask me for my animal impressions. Right.
Okay, we're going to tie this one more segment to go here on the DMZ America podcast. I'm Scott Stantis, coming to you from the right.
And I'm Ted Rall, working on my sound effects, coming to you from the left.
We'll be back right after a few seconds. So stick around.
Indeed.
Okay.